Hey, up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek. Sorry, I'm just checking on my phone, making sure we were live. Welcome to me midweek. It is midweek. It is Wednesday, isn't it? I get mixed up which day it is. We're going to my midweek news roundup. Let's see if you can hear me. Yes, you can. Right, okay. Just asking myself if it were Wednesday. Right, welcome to me midweek news roundup. It's a glorious day here in Yorkshire. I should be outside enjoying the sunshine or doing a bit of gardening or whatever, and I'm not. I'm sat here doing geeky things. So appreciate my sacrifices. Even my ice and my Coca-Cola's almost gone. It's only been in a couple of minutes. I've got my ceiling fan on. I'm sweating cobs at the moment. Not too bad right now. And I've got a little air conditioning unit, battery-powered air conditioning unit here on my desk going away, blowing cool air at me. Who would have thunk it, eh? Here in the UK. Hot days. Right. So we've got some news. We're starting off with a couple of sad news items, and we've also got some Doctor Who, some Star Wars stuff, Disney, whatever. What else? And some Stargate news, which is interesting. Right. So before we get on with that, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. I'm also live on Rumble. Let's just check and make sure. Just check and make sure we are, because I've been having problems with Rumble recently. But yes, we seem fine on there. And I'm also on Twitch. I'll say it again. I don't know why I'm doing Twitch, but somebody seems to be watching me, unless that's me. It could be. I don't know. But we're also live on Twitch. Later on, a recording of this stream will appear on Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links are in the description. Sorry, I'm just moving DVDs about. I've got a stack of DVDs ready for my other shows. That was my Monday one, Stardust. And next Monday for me Monday morn is Buckaroo Banzai. I hate that film. Why have I got DVDs of films I don't like? I don't know. And another one for some time, but I haven't decided. Face Off. Another film I'm not that keen on. And this is for my Friday night appointment with Thea this Friday. The Cottage. There we go. But they're on top of what I'm really aiming for. Links in the description. For me 2 books. Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and stuff. Topical. I did a couple of UFO stories last week. And Silent Predator, a short horror novella about big cats eating people in North Yorkshire and all that stuff. It's all just a bit of fun. Don't expect, something amazing. It's not going to happen, but it's just a bit of fun. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. Kindle's cheaper, obviously. Right. Let's get this news up. Right, so off we go. Oh, hang on. I've got to make myself titchy, haven't I? Don't forget that bit. There we go. Right, first news. Oh, I didn't go full screen, did I? Trying to be professional. There we go. First news is sad. In a way, it's always sad when somebody passes away. But when you pass away at 93, you think, well, fair enough, don't you? It's still sad when somebody passes away. I'm digging a hole for myself here, but I hope I live to be 93. Anyway, John Romita Sr., Marvel Comics icon and co-creator of Wolverine, dies at 93. Did I say the links are in the description? I can't remember, but links are in the description for all these stories we're looking at now. I'm sure I'm going to say something else, and I've forgotten what it was. It must have been a lie, and there he is. Well, I presume that's him. I wouldn't know. Right, John Romita Sr., one of the key artists in Marvel Comics history, who co-created characters such as Wolverine, the Punisher, and Mary Jane Watson, died on Tuesday. He was 93. Romita Sr.'s death was confirmed by his son, fellow comics artist. Oh, pardon me, I do apologize. Pop. John Romita Jr. in a post on Twitter Tuesday evening. I say this with a heavy heart, Romita Jr. wrote. My father passed away peacefully in his sleep. He's a legend in the art world, and it would be my honour to follow in his footsteps. Please keep your thoughts and condolences here out of respect for my family. He was the greatest man I ever met. And there's the tweet with a picture. Although Romita Sr.'s major contributions were made at Marvel Comics, he split time between the company and rival DC Comics early in his career. He was born in Brooklyn on January 24th, 1930, and worked at Timely Comics, which would later become Marvel Comics in the 1940s and DC Comics in the 50s and 60s. It's always weird why they still call it DC Comics when DC stands for Detective Comics, doesn't it? So it's DC Detective Comics. Anyway. In 1966, he took over for, not that I'm an expert on comics, I just know that. In 1966, he took over for artist Steve Ditko on the Amazing Spider-Man series, working alongside Marvel editor-in-chief Stan Lee on the series and shaping the current conception of the superhero. Romita Sr.'s Spider-Man tenure introduced Peter Parker's perennial love interest Mary Jane Watson, as well as crime boss Kingpin, now a mainstay across the Marvel Rogues gallery. A feud with Lee eventually ended his time on the series. Oh dear. Other enduring Spider-Man characters created by Romita Sr. included the high-flying villain Vulture, the mobster Hammerhead, Sonic-powered Shocker, the Hobgoblin, journalist Robbie Robertson, and Gwen Stacy's father, George Stacy. Romita Sr. also had a hand in creating the tragic seminal storyline, The Night Gwen Stacy Died, considered one of the best Spider-Man stories ever told. He also helped create Luke Cage, the Daredevil villain Bullseye, and Wilson Fisk, aka the evil mastermind Kingpin. Nearly all of these characters have appeared countless times in film and TV, live action and animated. Romita Sr.'s death comes the week after Sony's Spider-Man sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, hit theaters and dominated the box office. Romita Sr. was inducted into the Eisner Awards Hall of Fame in 2002 and the Inkwell Awards Hall of Fame in 2020. He's survived by his wife, Virginia, and sons, Romita Jr. and Victor. And there we go. So that's very sad. But as I said, I hope I live to be 93. I don't think I will. I don't live a healthy lifestyle, unfortunately, but that's down to me. So there we go. And another sad news item straight after this is about Treat Williams. Who's Treat Williams, you may ask? Well, you probably know him. He's quite a famous actor without being a famous actor, if you know what I mean. He's not like on everybody's lips, is he, Treat Williams? But everybody, you know stuff he's been in. And they're like going, oh, him. Right. So Treat Williams dies in a motorcycle accident. Everwood and Hare star was 71. So I hope I'm riding motorbikes at 71. I know it's not 93, but he's obviously living the life if he's riding motorbikes at 71. I'm not even riding motorbikes now. At 56. Updated with family statement. Treat Williams, the versatile and prolific actor, best known for playing Dr. Andy Brown and Greg Berlanti's Everwood during a nearly half-century career, died this afternoon. This was yesterday, I do believe, yeah. It might have been the day before, actually. What day are we on today? Yeah, sorry, it was June the 12th. Williams was killed in a motorcycle accident in Dorset, Vermont. He was 71. Go away, articles. Williams' family issued a statement to Deadline, which reads in part, Treat was full of love for his family, for his life, and for his craft, and was truly at the top of his game in all of it. To all his fans, please know that Treat appreciated all of you, and please continue to keep him in your hearts and prayers. Read the full statement below. We'll get to that. Jacob Gribble, the fire chief for Dorset, told People that the accident happened around 5 p.m. Eastern Time and involved Williams's motorcycle and a single car, the driver of which apparently didn't see Williams. He was the only person hurt in the crash. A helicopter was called to airlift him to hospital. That's why they always used to say in the adverts on UK TV, think once, think twice, think bike. That's what they always used to say. Always check. For motorbikes or push bikes, people on push bikes, because they can easily be obscured, for a fraction of a second. Williams played the kind-hearted lead on Warner Brothers' Everwood for 4 seasons from 2002 to 2006, a role that seemed to fit the actor perfectly. Williams received 2 SAG Award nominations for his work on the show. The series never was a ratings blockbuster, but it helped launch the careers of Chris Pratt, Emily Van Camp, and Gregory Smith. Williams was well seasoned by the time the show came around. His first big break came when he auditioned for a road company for Grease. I came back and they put me on Broadway as the understudy to 4 of the male leads, including John Travolta and Jeff Conaway, Williams told Vermont magazine. I covered Teen Angel, Doody, Danny Zuko, and Roger. Within 2 weeks, I was on Broadway performing. It was a baptism by fire, but it was great. He ultimately, by the way, Grease is one of my favourite films of all time. It just is. He ultimately would appear in a half dozen Broadway shows from 1974 to 2001, including Follies, Love Letters, and the 1981 production of The Pirates of Penzance. He made his film debut in the 1975 thriller Deadly Hero. The following year, he played a supporting role in Richard Lester's The Ritz and also appeared in John Sturgis's The Eagle Has Landed. Yes, he did. Great film. Great film is that. Another one of my favourite war films is The Eagle Has Landed. It's a great what-if story. His big screen breakthrough came in 1979 when he starred as George Berger in Milos Forman's Hair. It was Shampoo, wasn't it? I'm going to say, is that the film that Carrie Fisher were in? But I think she were in Shampoo, wasn't she, not Hair? Based on the 1967 Broadway musical, Williams was nominated for a Golden Globe for that film. The actor's many other big screen credits include Steven Spielberg's 1941-1979, Sidney Lumet's Prince of the City 1981, Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America, it's in the West then, 1984, Dead Heat 1988, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead 1995, and what is probably most famous for these days, Deep Rising 1998, which is a great film. It's still Stephen Sommers' best film. Williams posted online, in my opinion, often about life in Vermont, sharing photos on social media of his farm and appreciation for country life. His final tweet came less than an hour before his death. I've always had an enormous love for Vermont, both in winter and summer. There was something incredibly special about it to me, and the people here are incredibly honest, real, and good-humoured, he told an interview in 2022. There's also always something new to discover somewhere on a dirt road that you've never travelled on before. Every day, sorry, I feel like I've got spider webs on my face. Maybe it's a ghost. Maybe it's Treat Williams. Every day I wake up, sorry, that was a bit harsh, wasn't it? A bit unreasonable. Anyway, every day I wake up so grateful to see the view that I see out of my window and to be living up here. On TV, Williams's career stretched back 40 years to a starring role in the 1983 telefilm Dempsey, about the former heavyweight champ, to whom the actor bore more than a passing resemblance. He followed up with 2 more TV movies, A Streetcar Named Desire, 1984, in which he played Stanley Kowalski, and J. Edgar Hoover, 1987, playing the titular G-Man. Dozens more TV movies followed, including the 1996 The Late Shift, which earned him an Emmy nomination for playing former Uber agent Michael Ovitz, as well as the sitcom Good Advice with Shelley Long, which ran on CBS for 2 seasons from 1993 to 94, leading to Everwood. More recently, Williams appeared in a 6-episode arc on Blue Bloods as Lenny Ross in the Hallmark Channel's Chesapeake Shores from 2016 to 2022, and in the HBO limited series We Own This City. He will soon be seen in Ryan Murphy's FX anthology series Feud, Capote's Women, in which he plays former CBS head and media tycoon Bill Paley. Williams is survived by his wife, actress Pam Van Sant, their 2 children, Gilles and Ellie, and that's it. And there's the statement. A statement on the passing of Treat Williams. It is with great sadness that we report that our beloved Treat Williams has passed away tonight in Dorset, Vermont, after a fatal motorcycle accident. As you can imagine, we are shocked and greatly bereaved at this time. Treat was full of love for his family, for his life, and for his craft, and was truly at the top of his game in all of it. It is also shocking right now, but please know that Treat was dearly and deeply loved and respected by his family and everyone who knew him. We are beyond devastated and ask that you respect our privacy as we deal with our grief. To all his fans, please know that Treat appreciated all of you, and please continue to keep him in your hearts and prayers. The Williams family. So there we go. Another sad story. Rest in peace, John Romita Sr. and Treat Williams. It's very sad. Right, let's move on to some slightly happier news, thankfully. I don't think it'll affect me, but here we go. YouTube is lowering the eligibility requirements for creators to make money. It'll not affect me. The YouTube Partner Program allows creators to monetize their content. More people will now be eligible under lowered requirements. I've always wondered why they set the requirements so high to start with. Baffling to me. You know, you had to get 1,000 subscribers and all these thousands of watch hours and these millions of views on shorts. I'm thinking, why are they making it so hard? You'd think they'd make it easy, wouldn't you? Because then the more ads that appear on YouTube, the more money they'd make. But no, maybe I'm not a technical person, so I don't know the ins and outs. Right, YouTube will allow more creators to monetize their presence on the platform, including creators with smaller followings, like me. But I'm still not going to be able to do it. The company announced that it is lowering the eligibility requirements for the YouTube Partner Program and opening up a handful of monetization methods to smaller creators, including paid chat, tipping, channel memberships. Oh, excuse me. Oh, cracky. And shopping features. Under the new eligibility policy, the YPP, the YouTube Partner Program, will be open to creators once they reach 500 subscribers. I'm not there yet. Half the number that YouTube previously had. Well, the benchmarks are changing too. Participating creators will need 3,000 valid watch hours. That's in a year. And I'm nowhere near that. Instead of 4,000 or 3 million shorts views compared to the original 10 million. I'm nowhere near that. The lower requirements will initially roll out in the US, UK, Canada. I was a Canadian then. Canada, Taiwan, and South Korea. But when I check on mine, it still says 1,000. So I don't know. Smaller creators will still need to grow their footprint to cash in on ad revenue, with YouTube saying the existing YPP requirements will remain for revenue sharing. The company notes that creators won't have to reapply to the program once they hit the higher requirements. YouTube has used its ad revenue sharing program to entice creators to make money, especially to bolster the company's short form content in recent months by introducing an ad revenue sharing program for shorts. And Mike's on board, saying they are lowering it because Twitter added ways for users to make money from their content. Is that true? I don't know. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really pay much attention to it, and I don't upload, content to it as such. Videos and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening on Twitter. And I haven't got a blue check mark either. I'm not paying for that. Other platforms like TikTok have also lowered the bar for having access to creator monetization features. Earlier this month, the company announced that its video paywall feature series, I'm not on TikTok either, would be available to creators with more than 10,000 followers, but that users with 1,000 followers who met other requirements could also apply to participate in the program. Series gives creators the option to share premium content that fans can pay to access. In both cases, smaller creators are getting a chance to make money from fans and followers who pay for additional content, interactions, or otherwise support creators. Financially, monetization features like tipping or paywalls are available across other creator platforms, and in each case require an audience that's willing to spend money. Your hands in your pockets. Other monetization streams are also opening up to a wider group of creators. The Shopping Affiliate Program, previously available by invitation only to select creators, is now available to YPP participants in the US with at least 20,000 subscribers. There we go. So maybe one day I'll hit 500 and get the, some of the benefits, but it won't be anytime soon. Not in the near future. Maybe by the 23rd century. Right, let's move on to get some more geeky stuff. Need more geeky stuff, don't we? So we're on to Doctor Who next. Doctor Who. Right, off we go. Right, Doctor Who's Ncuti Gatwa confirms Hollywood star is biggest fan of the show. This show has incredible reach, is the quote. Right, Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa, who's going to be the 15th Doctor or 40th, now you look at it. Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa has confirmed that Ryan Gosling is the biggest fan of the Sci-Fi show. Speaking to British Vogue, Gatwa, or was it Gatwa? I don't know. who was cast as the 50th Doctor while working on the upcoming Barbie movie alongside Gosling, said his co-star couldn't wait to congratulate him. I remember Ryan Gosling bounding up to my trailer like, Doctor Who is the coolest show in the world, man. I'm the biggest fan. And I was like, what the hell? This show has incredible reach. After auditioning for the role of the Doctor back in February 2022, Gatwa said he was convinced he wouldn't get the part, which he said put his nerves at ease. I was just like, there's no way I'll get this. It's a British institution and there's no way they'll cast a black man. So I just had fun, he admitted. When he got the part, Gatwa said he felt dumb and that keeping the news a secret until it was officially announced was very difficult. I'd often get a little tipsy in Soho House. I don't know, that pub, I don't know. Making a new best friend in the bathroom, telling them and run off. You mean making a new best friend in the bathroom? Thankfully, it never got out, thankfully. Yeah, he quipped. Last year, Gosling expressed his delight at Gatwa's casting, saying, I'm such a big fan of Ncuti. He's the coolest, and him playing Doctor Who is like the most exciting thing that's happening right now, so I'm here for it. Following this, Gosling was spotted rocking a top emblazoned with a picture of Gatwa as the Doctor, solidifying his status as the ultimate fan. On playing the Doctor, Gatwa previously said, this show, I'm going to say show and role at the same time, about a show. This role and show means so much to so many around the world, including myself, and each one of my incredibly talented predecessors has handled that unique responsibility and privilege with the utmost care, with one exception, maybe. I will endeavour my utmost to do the same. Gosling and Gatwa will be seen on screen together in Barbie, out in cinemas on July 21st. Both are playing a different version of Ken. Oh, so it would be like a Barbie multiverse then. Ooh, getting a numb bum already. Doctor Who returns later in 2023 on BBC One in the UK and Disney Plus elsewhere. Meanwhile, in the US, the show airs on BBC America with series 1 to 12 available on Max, formerly HBO Max. Classic Doctor Who streams on BritBox in the UK. So there we go. So Ryan Gosling is Doctor Who's #1 fan. And he's walking around sporting a Ncuti Gatwa t-shirt. Good for him. Good for him. Right. Next. All right. Next is the other big news of the last couple of days. Here we go. Thunderbolts, Blade, Avengers, Kang, Dynasty. I thought I'd go American for a minute. I've got to go American, by the way, and pronounce things the American way, I was told on a Rumble comment. It's funny. I think they were being, I hope they were being amusing. But anyway. Secret Wars amongst, I've got to say Lieutenant now and not Lieutenant. And let me see if I can't do it on there, can I? There was another word that I thought, I can't work out what this word is. It's like Padea or something. What they're talking about? I don't even know what that word is. Anyway, Secret Wars but thank you for the comment. Whoever you were, I forgot your name. Sorry, apologies. Secret Wars among Disney's release date changes due to WGA strike. Some of these changes are baffling. Some of them are changes that are bringing films forward, and some of them they're delaying them slightly, and some of them they're really, really delaying them, and I don't know why. Anyway, it feels like COVID all over again, but it's not. Disney has just made a slew of release date changes, many due to the impact of the WGA strike and screenplays not being ready and productions paused. Hang on, let me have another drinky. Bloody hell, this glass is heavy, crikey. We already know that Thunderbolts, the one about Thunderbolt Ross, so will that be starring Harrison Ford, or will they just be appearing in it briefly? I don't know. And Blade are waiting the strike out before rolling cameras. Scripts aren't fully ready in regards to the new Avengers movies. Avengers Kang Dynasty goes from May the 2nd, 2025 to May the 1st, 2026. That's a whole year that's been delayed, presumably because they'll probably be looking for another Kang. Avengers Secret Wars is also pushed another year from May 2026 to May the 1st to May the 7th, 2027. Again, I reckon this is because the they're looking for another Kang. Jonathan Majors is kind of in trouble a little bit at the moment, isn't he? Go away, articles. We told you, as in Deadline, that 2023 largely was safe in the hands to staying intact, knock on wood, but the ramifications, I can't say that, but the ramifications of the writer's strike and productions paused will be felt throughout 2024 and beyond. Commence the great release date shuffle by the motion picture studios. Also, the other delay here with the MCU titles is that Disney wants to make sure they're better. Yeah, of course it does. That's what they've been told, isn't it? Better than what they've been doing from script stage to VFX in the wake of fan pans. Fan pans. Oh, God. Well, at least they're being, nice about it. Usually they're saying, like, fans are, bigoted racists and homophobes and all that, are they? Now it's just fan pans. And lower post-pandemic box office results for such films as Eternals, which I didn't mind. I didn't mind Eternals. Not as an MCU film, a terrible MCU film, but as a genetic fantasy, sci-fi film, I thought it were okay, mostly. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which, wasn't great. Thor Love and Thunder, which I've still not watched all the way through. And Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which I haven't watched at all. And, I really liked the first Ant-Man. The second one was, whatever. Didn't hate it, but I've not seen the third one. But the first one, I think, was a top film. It was really good, really enjoyable and fun. First major change is that the untitled Deadpool movie will fire off next summer, May 3rd, while Captain America Brave New World, formerly Captain America New World Order, something like called it, Captain America World Economic Forum, gets pushed to July 26th, 2024. Thunderbolts stays in 2024, moving off July 26th to December 20th. And Deadpool 3, in a vote of confidence, moves up from November 8th. So they're moving that up. So it comes from November 8th up to May the 3rd, which is weird. So that must be done then, pretty much. If it's coming out in May next year, it must be pretty much done. In post-production, I should imagine now. Because it's less than a year away. Oh, pardon me, some burping. Blade goes from September 6th, 2024 to February 14th, 2025. So that's a few months, isn't it? It's like a 6-month delay. If it happens, I wouldn't be surprised if... I forgot his name. I think I can't remember his name. Him that's playing Blade. It was in Luke Cage, wasn't it? I can't remember his bloody name now. I wouldn't be surprised if he bows out and they get a new one in. Wesley Snipes, probably. Anyway, that Valentine's Day / near President's Day frame, which has been a sweet spot for the MCU. Take your word for it, Deadline. Fantastic Four shifts deeper into 2025 from February 14th to May the 2nd. Avatar 3 officially is delayed a year from December 20th, 2024 to December 19th, 2025. Why? If it's to do with the WGA strike, why? I thought he had them all written. I thought they were done, in the writing. I thought they were just making them now. Anyway, which thus pushes other sequels from James Cameron as Avatar 4 shifts from December 18th, 2026 to December 21st, 2029. And Avatar 5 goes from December 22nd, 2028 to December 19th, 2031. So that's a 2-year. That's a 3-year delay for Avatar 4, then another 2-year delay for Avatar 5. Why? While these scripts are already locked, that shows it's got nothing to do with the WGA strike. The shift of movies due to the WGA strike is pushing the Avatar sequels around. No, there's something else going on there. Producer John Landau said the following today about the movies, because they could put these anywhere. If they're done, they could stick them anywhere and they'd earn money with the Avatar films. He's shown that with Avatar 2. Hello, Auteur. Wesley Snipes brought a style to Blade. I doubt the new guy will shine, but who knows? Yeah. I'll say Wesley Snipes is Blade, isn't it? I can't remember this new fella's name. He's a good actor. I'll say we're in Luke Cage. What is Luke Cage? One of those MCU Netflix series. We're in one of those. I think it was Luke Cage. And he was good in that. But anyway, I like the Blade series. Remember that? And that wasn't Wesley Snipes playing Blade. It was somebody else, wasn't it? Something like, I can't remember the names. One of these that's like called after an ice cube or something like that. Yeah, I can't remember the names. But that were good. Too many Smurf movies. Don't you like Avatar? I like the Avatar films. I love the first one. I don't know why people slate it. I love the first one. The second one, it's okay. It's okay. It's just like the first one again, really, isn't it? But I like the Avatar films. I've nothing against them. And they make money, which is what Hollywood wants, isn't it? Right, the Star Wars movies, which are still being baked. I'm baking at the moment, not because of the heat, because, never mind. I'll be taking a visit to the little boy's room after this stream's done. That's what I mean by baking, which could also refer to the Star Wars movies, are getting kicked down the road like cans. One of them, not cans as in, the disaster that was for Indiana Jones, that cans. Anyway, one of them goes from December 19th, 2025 to May 22nd, 2026. Well, they did that with another one, didn't they? The other Star Wars films, they moved it from December to May. I can't remember which, but it's Solo that they moved. Solo originally, I think, were going to be released in December of whatever year it came out, and they brought it forward, didn't they, to May, just 6 months after Last Jedi came out. And a lot of people said that was the death knell for it because it were too close to the Last Jedi. It wasn't because the Last Jedi destroyed Star Wars essentially, but anyway. And another Untitled one gets added on December 18th, 2026. So I don't know. They're not even saying which ones they are they? Which shows that they're not real films. They're just, paper films. Films on paper, so to speak, that probably won't happen. The new live-action Moana movie with Dwayne Johnson, our Dwayne, has staked out the summer date of June 22nd, 2025, about a week earlier from its previous July 2nd date. Don't care. My son's coming. Okay, I'm not minding you. Go on, off you go. Do whatever you're doing. Have you? All right, then. That's ask, was it a May 4th silly ploy? It could be, but it's May 22nd, isn't it? So May 25th is the real Star Wars Day, isn't it? Which is when the original movie was released back in 1977, but not for us in the UK. We didn't get it till late December, early January of the year. Late December 77, early January 78. Anyway, where were we? Right. The new Alien movie, which is shooting overseas, takes the Disney RSVP date. What does that even mean? Why do they say that? What, responde, s'il vous plaît? Of August 16th, 2024. It's deadline. They're always doing weird phrases and weird, catchwords that I don't understand. The Rami Malek movie, The Amateur. What? Ooh, your stomach gurgling then. Oh, all right. Not doing anything now. Pick it up then. I'll just kick it out of the way. Right, okay. I had to move it because I've put this air conditioning thing here. So. Are you done?
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me I'm fine.
You're fine. Go on, daft apeth. My son getting a drink of water. Right, where were we? The Rami Malek movie, The Amateur, from 20th Century Fox Studios. Remember, he's the Oscar winner for playing Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. Takes the old date of Deadpool 3, that being November 8th, 2024. The pick, the film, directed by James Hawes, follows a CIA cryptographer who, after his wife is killed in a London terrorist attack, you like we get them these days, demands his boss go after them. When it becomes clear they won't act due to conflicting internal priorities, he blackmails the agency into training him and letting him go after them himself. So I wonder who these terrorists are going to be. I think I might know, you can guess, can't you? It's not going to be Irish. It's not going to be Irish ones, in my opinion. Disney has also has RSVP'd. What do you mean? The following dates for Untitled films: September 26th and 2024 dates for films that we don't know about. A Marvel film, 2025, an MCU, that's another Marvel film. Also in 2025, a Disney movie was set for May 22nd, 2026, has been removed from the schedule. But not saying what it was. Why not just tell us what it is? So there we go. So lots of moving stuff about for Disney. They're blaming the WGA strike. I think there's probably other things as well. Because they haven't got much money, have they, apparently, Disney? They've a lot of assets, but not a lot of liquid, cash. Not a lot of cash flow going on. Which where the rumours have been coming that they're going to start selling off stuff. So we'll see. We will see. Right, let's move on. Where are we? Amazon. Right. Stargate, should I say, not Amazon. Connected. Right. Amazon announces free Stargate channel. I'm glad I've cancelled my MGM subscription. Save me some money. 23 new channels are coming to Amazon Freevee, including 2 dedicated exclusively to Stargate and the Outer Limits. And there's Jack O'Neill being Leo the Lion. According to Deadline, Amazon Freevee... I should have just gone to the Deadline article, shouldn't I? Never mind. Amazon Freevee is set to roll out 23 new Roku-style, fast, free, ad-supported streaming television channels. 12 of the channels will be drawn from the MGM vault, including single-show channels based around Stargate and the Outer Limits. Will that be the new Outer Limits or the original ones, or all of them? Because I love the Outer Limits, the original ones, the black and white ones. I like Outer Limits better than Twilight Zone, so there. Autocare says, recently stolen valued project. Yeah, is that what it means, RSVP? Very good. You're a better comedian than me. Not that I'm a comedian. Where were I? I can't remember. Outer Limits, yes. And MGM presents Sci-Fi that will contain a mixture of MGM TV shows and movies. The other 11 channels will be in partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery. So there you go. This is what Warner Brothers is starting to do now. They've still got the Max, obviously. But they're doing a lot more licensing. So that's where the big money is going to be made. Licensing. That will make impression of yogurt from Spaceballs. But yeah, the big money's in licensing. So I won't be surprised if we see some of the streamers start licensing out other films or series to like Netflix and, like I say, Amazon and places like that, rather than putting them on their own streaming services. So then they don't. Then just license stuff out. You get the money. It's free money essentially, innit? You get the money, but you're not having to pay for the to keep it on a streaming server. Ooh, me num bum. Anyway. Right, fast channels offer freebie viewers an always-on 24/7 lean-back viewing experience that immediately connects them to a selection of TV shows, movies, and unscripted programming, such as news, sports, and music, said Ryan Pirozzi. Apologies. Head of Amazon Freevee. It's a horrible word, Freevee. It's it's an easy word to say, but it's not an attractive word, is it? Freevee. It reminds me of something that you want to wee into, like me wee or whatever they call them, she wee. Anyway, probably that says more about me than anything, right? MGM and Warner Brothers Discovery create content that appeals to the diverse fan base: action, comedy, drama, scripted, unscripted, and more. We are incredibly excited. Freevee customers will have even more choice when it comes to what they can watch whenever and however they choose. I think Babylon 5's on Freevee, isn't it? On Amazon, in the UK at least. It may be a reach, but perhaps this is a sign that Amazon is testing the potential audience for their new show, which is about a new Stargate series on Amazon. Amazon Freevee is currently available in the US, the UK, Germany, and Austria. There's no confirmation yet as to which territories will receive the new channels. And there we go. And Carolyn Bianchi says, yes! Good for you, Carolyn. Glad you're happy. So there we go, Stargate channel. That's it. I used to subscribe to the MGM channel on Amazon to watch Stargate, but it was a bit hit and miss. Some of the episodes, were really good quality, in terms of HD and that. And some of them were in widescreen. I'm talking about SG1 here. Some of them were in widescreen and some of them were in 4:3. Some of them had subtitles, but Amazon subtitles have always been hit and miss. But some of them you could skip the credits, some of them you couldn't. Stargate Atlantis, you couldn't skip the credits and had no subtitles. I like watching stuff with subtitles because I'm always stuffing my face with crisps and stuff. But anyway, that's by the by. Wind Grace, hey up, mate. I watched Stargate on Pluto, even though I own them all on DVD. Well, I watched Stargate on Earth. I know what you mean, Pluto. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's easier, isn't it? It's easier than going and digging out your DVDs, isn't it, and sticking them in the DVD player or your PlayStation or whatever you're using. It's easier just to click a button in it on a streamer. But anyway, so yes, that's it. I did it for the. I signed up to the MGM channel on Amazon. Yeah, on Amazon, just for that convenience to watch the Stargate stuff. But I got fed up because I stopped watching it because I got fed up with the quality issues that we have on Amazon sometimes. So now I'll be watching it for free. I'm not that bothered. Saving myself a $5 a month. Anyway, let's move on. We've got another Stargate story later. But that's later. Not much later. We're over halfway, don't worry. We're back to Doctor Who now. Back to Doctor Who. Right, David Tennant describes Doctor Who return as one last shot. David Tennant has opened up about his highly anticipated return to Doctor Who, and there he is going. I wonder why he puts on an English accent when he's the Doctor, because he's Scottish, isn't he? And he's got a naturally Scottish accent. So I don't know why they didn't let him have his Scottish accent. They let Peter Capaldi have his Scottish accent, didn't they? I think. So why didn't they let David Tennant? Maybe they just didn't want. Well, David Tennant was first, wasn't he? So maybe they should have let him have his Scottish accent and Peter Capaldi not to have his Scottish accent. Of course, they let Christopher Eccleston keep his northern accent because apparently there is a north in space. Anyway, David Tennant has spoken about his upcoming return to Doctor Who, which will see him reunited with showrunner Russell T Davies. I must admit, he's the best Doctor in, apart from the classic Doctors. I said Tom Baker, Peter Davies, and John Pertwee, and all them. Patrick Troughton, William Hartnell, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy. I said they're the best Doctors, but of the new lot, David Tennant was my favourite. Wingrace says, I remember hearing they didn't let him have an accent because they just came off Eccleston with an accent and it was too much. Yeah, like I said, the northern accent, didn't he? But it could be argued he put on a southern accent, didn't he? Like a London accent, Alonso and all that. So it's still an accent, isn't it? It's just not his own. But anyway, should have had a Yorkshire accent. Hey up, I'm Doctor. I'm come to sort these Daleks out. Or out. Sort these Daleks out. Me TARDIS. You've got Sean Bean. You've got Sean Bean to play the Doctor, shouldn't they? I'm the Doctor. I'm the Doctor, you bastard. That's what he just said, wasn't it? And then died at the end of his first season. Right. And regenerate, obviously. Anyway, the actor originally played the iconic Time Lord from 2005 to 2010 and returned for a 2015 special. Will also be reunited with Catherine Tate. I like Catherine Tate. In upcoming scenes, I like it on her own show, the Catherine Tate show, when she does Nan. What a fucking liberty. It cracks me up. In upcoming scenes, as she reprises her role as Donna Noble. Apologies for the language, by the way, but it's Nan. He is described coming back to the role as one last shot and an opportunity for him to take on the character again before he's too old to be the Doctor. Too old to be the Doctor. What about William Hartnell and like John Pertwee? They were like ancient when they were being the Doctor. Well, John Pertwee looked ancient. I don't know if he was. It was the hair. Opening up about the return, David told the Radio Times the specifics of coming back to Doctor Who took a bit of wrangling, but we were always receptive to the notion. I mean, they should have let him have his Scottish accent when he came back. He's coming back as the 14th Doctor, isn't he? And he should have had a Scottish accent, and they'd be like, Donna would have been like, something's different about you. And but anyway. But we were always receptive to the notion. Initially, it was a casual conversation going, wouldn't it be fun to do a one-off? Then Russell was back running the show, and suddenly it could be something bigger. And there he is with Catherine Tate as Donna Noble. For some reason, I don't know why, I find her strangely attractive. I don't know why, because she's not particularly pretty, and she's got a gob on her. But she's funny. Probably because she's funny that she makes me laugh. Anyway, he added, but there's really no pressure. It's a victory lap in a way. You get to enjoy something that had meant so much to you. One last shot before you get too old to do it again. David Tennant's Doctor Who return came as a huge shock to fans, with everyone expecting to see a different face when Jodie Whittaker regenerated, only to be greeted with a very familiar Time Lord. This was a huge twist, but he hadn't been worried about the response. Speaking to the BBC at the time, he said, it didn't really feel like a risk. I knew that Russell T Davies was in charge, and I loved working with him, and I loved receiving a script with his name on the front, so that was a bit of a no-brainer, really. David's return will precede the arrival of a brand new Doctor with sex education star Ncuti Gatwa taking on the role of Doctor Who Season 14. In Doctor Who Season 14. He's joined by Coronation Street's Millie Gibson, who is taking on the role of the newest companion, Ruby Sunday. There are plenty of exciting new additions as Jinx Monsoon joins as a new Season 14 villain, and Jonathan Groff has landed a mysterious guest role, so there's lots to look forward to when the series returns. Don't forget, what's his face is going to be in it, isn't it? I forgot his name now. Doogie Howser. He's in it as well, isn't he? Anyway, crikey. Right, there we go. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about Doctor Who. I didn't like the last one. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. Started watching it, just out of curiosity, but ducked out after a couple of episodes. I ducked out kind of halfway through Peter Capaldi's run because it started getting a bit too preachy, to be honest. But anyway. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. If it's rubbish, it's rubbish. If it's good, it's good. Right, moving on. Screen Rant. There's always a Screen Rant article, isn't it? Because they are omnipresent. They are the queue of news outlets. Right, Star Wars Outlaws. Character's story and when it might release. It actually looks quite good, I must admit. I do like the look of it. But people saying, it's another woman another female lead. You've just had Star Wars Jedi's last, what they call it, Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor with a male lead. Now you get one with a female lead and the kicking off. Anyway, there she's playing. Is it Sabak or Sabak? I don't know how you pronounce it. You may never see another fella's a perfect pyramid. I know. Massive Entertainment's upcoming open world game, Star Wars Outlaws, was officially revealed at the June 2023 Xbox Showcase and had an extended appearance at the Ubisoft, or is it Ubisoft? I still don't know. Forward event the following day. The cinematic trailer showed an interesting new kind of Star Wars story in gaming that isn't centered around Rebels, Jedi, or the Empire, but instead someone just trying to survive in the middle of the galactic conflict on the Outer Rim. There's been a gameplay trailer, hasn't there? Or footage? I don't know. I forgot to check. I'm sure that they were supposed to release a gameplay video the day after the show, the cinematic thing. Could be wrong. Probably am. After the explorable worlds of Respawn Entertainment's acclaimed Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, an open world Star Wars title felt like the next step in terms of truly traversing the vast galaxy. Ubisoft, whatever, is known for its huge open world franchises such as Assassin's Creed. They still haven't beaten Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, in my opinion. It's one of the greatest games ever made. And Far Cry. Let's say Far Cry 5 and 4 and 3 were pretty good. And while there were some concerns, hang on, we're going back to Doctor Who now. Not sure they should race swap the Doctor, though they did make him Scottish. Yeah, I don't think has he got a Scottish accent in it though. Ncuti Gatwa. I know he has. He's another with a natural Scottish accent because he was raised in Scotland. Wasn't he? I think he was born in Rwanda, wasn't he? But I think he was raised in Scotland. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I'll give him a chance. We'll see what happens. But that's all we can do, isn't it? If he's good, he's good. It's the stories, isn't it, that really are going to make the difference. If they're good stories, then and it's good writing, then you'll accept anybody, won't you? Well, I will anyway. Anyway, where were we? And while there were some concerns raised surrounding the kind of repetitive side activities and the sheer number of collectibles seen in these games, the studio's years of experience with this type of title makes it a natural choice. Cheers, Auteur. Makes it a natural choice for LucasArts. They're not going anymore, are they? LucasArts. It's Lucasfilm Games or something. They bloody closed LucasArts, didn't they? Disney. Unbelievable. Pardon me. To partner to embark upon Star Wars' first fully open world venture. Have they forgotten about Star Wars Galaxies? That was an open world one, wasn't it? Not that I ever played it. Right, Ubisoft, I don't know. A tentative release date of 2024. That's not a date, that's a year. It's like going, asking a girl out for a date and saying, okay, I'll meet you in 2024. Just put your whole year aside. Anyway, for Star Wars Outlaws. From what has been revealed so far, the game appears to be rather polished from its Ubisoft forward gameplay. Is it? Just tell me, is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft? Tell me in the chat. I need to know. So hopefully it will arrive earlier in the year rather than later. Anyway, despite being revealed during an Xbox game showcase, Star Wars Outlaws will be a multi-platform release. An official press release from them confirmed that Star Wars Outlaws will be coming to PS5, Xbox Series S/X, and PC via their own launcher, whatever, Connect, making it a current gen exclusive. Ubi for me. Oh, no, so it's Ubisoft, is it? You're probably right. I've always said Ubisoft. I think it is. I think you're right. I think it is Ubi because I think I once saw it written and they said something and it was like it's like Ubisoft title. If it were Ubisoft, it had been an Ubisoft title, wouldn't it? So, but sometimes the Y sound can be a vowel. Anyway, so yes, I think you're right. I'll say Ubisoft from now on then. All right. Where were we? Making it a current gen exclusive. Star Wars Outlaws takes place sometime between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, as is evident. Ubisoft sounds like an insult. Yes, it does, yeah. Something a pirate would say. Ubisoft. Arr, Ubisoft, arr. Going back to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So maybe we're both right. Anyway. Oh no, I said Ubisoft, didn't I? Did I? I forgot how I pronounced it now. Anyway. Depends on who's saying it, yeah. I mean, Ubisoft might sound a bit, Ubisoft. Let's stop it. It's Pride Month. Where were we? Start again. Star Wars Outlaws takes place sometime between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, as is evident by the appearance of Han Solo trapped in carbonite in the game's reveal trailer. Its story follows Kay Vess, a cunning scoundrel, and the thief who initially seems to be on the run with a bounty on her back. In an effort to gain her freedom and start a new life, Kay embarks on a galaxy-spanning adventure to attempt one of the biggest heists the Outer Rim has ever seen. Kay's faithful axolotl companion Nix will be at her side throughout the entire game, with Ubisoft calling the I'm going to say Ubisoft just for Auteur. That's what I'm going to calling the duo's relationship symbiotic. Nix will be an asset. I'm just bloody going through this. Just say pronouncing every word 2 ways. Nyx will be an asset to Star Wars Outlaws gameplay, reaching hidden secrets and hard-to-access areas. Kate and Nyx will also be joined by a battle-hardened trenchcoat-wearing BX commando droid called ND5, as well as a smuggler-type character called Jalen, who bears a striking resemblance to Star Wars Dark Forces Kyle Katarn, and seems to be the mastermind behind the heist that will grant Kay her freedom. Will he end up being Kyle Katarn? Don't know. I really liked Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. It was cool with that game. Mostly because it had proper Star Wars music in it. They don't put Star Wars music in the new games, do they? But that had actual proper sampled Star Wars music from John Williams. Anyway, great game. Not as keen on the follow-ups, the more the Outlaw, Jedi Outcast. I wasn't so keen on that. And the one after that, Jedi Academy. I wasn't so keen on that one either. But Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight, cool game. Back in the day. Right, Kay and Nyx will encounter several criminal syndicates from across the Star Wars universe, with the Pikes being the main example in the footage that has been shown. By the way, when I see Kyle Katarn, I always think of I forgot his name, the bad guy in it. They did like full motion video cutscenes, and the bad guy was played by Chris. Oh, he was in Dracula AD 1972. Chris, played by him anyway, and he used to go Kyle Katarn, and then he'd lick his lips in an evil way. Anyway, Kay and Nyx will encounter several criminal syndicates from across the Star Wars universe, with the Pikes being the main example in the footage that has been shown. Considering the glimpse of Han Solo's carbonite, it's likely that Kay may end up involved with the Hutts and the Crimson Dawn too, given their connection to it around this time. Reputation seems to be key to Kay's story. And she will have to navigate complex relationships with all of them, escalating or defusing situations as she goes. I wonder if there'll be a motion captured, version of Amelia Clark as whatever her character were called in Solo, because she kind of supposed to take over Crimson Dawn, wasn't she? Apparently, I think, because Maul's dead at this point, isn't he? Right, here we go. More screenshots. It looks fine. Ubisoft has touted Star Wars Outlaws as the first open-world Star Wars game, implying that it will be much larger than the hub-type worlds of recent Star Wars titles, such as Jedi Fallen Order and its sequel Jedi Survivor. Previous rumours indicated that Star Wars Outlaws would let players explore a huge, seamless open-world map that was akin to that of No Man's Sky. Therefore, many presumed that it would be possible that K-Vess would be going from ground-based combat seamlessly into large-scale space exploration in her ship. A feature that was once promised for the original Star Wars Battlefront 3 back in 2006. But had yet to be implemented into any game since its cancellation. Oh, heck. The 10-minute gameplay sequence... Oh, so there is one. Oh, it's there, look. Shown at the June 2023 Ubisoft Forward event, confirmed that this would be, in fact, be the case, as players will travel across the galaxy to distinct locations, both iconic and new, from the desert landscapes of Tatooine, obviously, to the humid jungles of Akiva, named after Akiva Goldsman. He does Star Trek, not Star Wars. To the windswept savannah of Toshara. Never heard of it. On the ground, Kay will explore bustling cities and cantinas and race across sprawling outdoor landscapes on her speeder before taking off in her ship, the Trailblazer, through the vast wilds of space. An exclusive look utilised stealth gameplay as Kay used an array of gadgets and her companion Nyx to navigate an enemy compound in order to steal an artifact for the Pike Crime Syndicate. Let's just have a quick... I'll turn the sound off, but we'll just have a quick look. I'll spin it on a bit. Here we go.
I think that went pretty well, right?
presume she's being chased. Yeah. Ah! Yeah, that looks fun, doesn't it? That looks fun to me. Right. The exclusive look utilised stealth gameplay. I've just read all this, haven't I? I'll read it again. As Kay used an array of gadgets and her companion Nix to navigate an enemy compound in order to steal an artifact for the Pike Crime Syndicate. I bet you use Nix. I bet he goes through air vents and unlocks doors from the other side. That'll really do, won't it? Yes, it did. Star Wars Red Dead Redemption. Yes, it did look like that. Which is not a bad thing, in my opinion, because that's another one of the greatest games of all time. The first Red Dead Redemption. And Star Wars and the Crystal Skull. I don't know. Don't be harsh, Auteur. It might be good. Anyway. Kate seems to be a skilled shooter and driver, of course. She can be seen using a slow motion, Deadeye attack. Akin to that of Red Dead Redemption. You've been reading ahead, haven't you, Wingrace? That's what you've been doing. During a speeder chase to take out multiple enemies. After a sequence at Jaunter's Hope, in which she poorly negotiates with her client and angers an Imperial officer in the process, setting off a Grand Theft Auto-esque wanted system. Oh, right. So basically, homaging other popular games. Kay then escapes the planet and engages in a dogfight with Imperial TIE fighters before triggering the ship's hyperdrive and blasting across the galaxy to escape, completing the mission. Cool. Fans have long been hoping for an open world Star Wars title that lets them seamlessly explore the wider galaxy. But did Star Wars Galaxies let you do that? I don't know. And from what's been seen so far, Star Wars Outlaws looks set to deliver. Haven't been reading ahead. We're just in a simulation. You're one of the prophets. Wingrace is one of the prophets. He knows all of time and space. It's all the same to him. So that's how we knew. With an original storyline that seems to be focusing on the opportunities within the criminal underworld rather than saving the galaxy, it definitely seems to be setting itself apart from the many Star Wars titles that came before it and should offer players a new and unique Star Wars experience when it launches in 2024. There we go. Sources, Ubisoft and YouTube. Yeah, I think it looks fine. Let's do a bit more later on. That's not gate, that's cinematic. There we go.
That Imperial announcement wouldn't be
Oh,
about
wanted.
Could be.
I'll get out of the wanted area, presume. There's no map. You should have a little map. It should be like Grand Theft Auto. You should have a little map showing the wanted area that you've got to get out of.
We need to leave.
Yeah.
Is that
no
taken
kidding.
directly from Jedi Fallen Order? It looked very like it, didn't it? That inside of that ship, the way she went on board. I like the music. Very Phantom Menace. We're going to see some TIE fighters. Are we going to see some TIE fighters? Hope we're not getting a copyright strike. No, not just yet. No chats. No chats on the other
Nothing on the
platforms.
sensors yet.
Oh, here they come.
Anybody on the sensors now?
TIE fighters on us.
Got one.
I feel inclined to remind you that we should shake the Empire quickly.
Thanks, I'm working on it.
Yeah, it looks cool. But that TIE fighter pilot he got hit and then flew straight into that other ship, didn't he? Like, yeah, it looks fun. It looks fun, does that? I'm looking forward to that. It actually looks better to me than Jedi, what they call it, Fallen Order. I haven't played Survivor yet, so I can't comment on that. I finished Jedi Fallen Order recently. Bought it ages ago, just got round to finishing it. And it's all right. It's all right. Right, let's move on. What we got next? Bit of Black Mirror. Bit of Black Mirror. That's what we've got next. Right, here we go. Black Mirror, the main message behind the Sci-Fi Anthology series. I can't remember if I saw the last season of Black Mirror. I think I started watching it, but it got a bit too, woke. And I don't think I watched any more of it. But the previous seasons were amazing, including Bandersnatch. Anyway, Black Mirror takes the horror-laced science fiction anthology world to a place audiences haven't visited since The Twilight Zone. The drama reflects all of the joys and sadness inherent in the tumult of survival. Whether it's recounting a tender romance undertaken by two women in a virtual space inhabited by the dead and dying, San Junipero. I bet that was the last season. Or following the adventures of a programmer who boldly rebels against her boss while trying to find a way to escape from a video game in which her consciousness has been trapped, USS Callista. It knows how to balance a variety of genres with effortless elan, which means grace. But what in the end is the series' mission statement? According to the program creator, Charlie Brooker, who's very funny, he's a very funny man. Used to like watching his Charlie Brooker screen wipe. Used to like watching that. Who wrote an article about Black Mirror for The Guardian in 2011, so it shows how long it's been going. When the show first launched on Channel 4, his drama seeks to explore the void where technology and humanity collide. This area between delight and discomfort is where Black Mirror, my new drama series, is set. The Black Mirror of the title is the one you'll find on every wall, on every desk, in the palm of every hand. As in, that. That's the Black Mirror, isn't it? That's of what he speaks, mostly. Anyway. Every hand. The cold, shiny screen of a TV, a monitor, a smartphone, he explained. Any TV, any LCD, any iPhone, any iPad, blah, blah, blah. If you just stare at it, it looks like a black mirror, and there's something cold and horrifying about that. Yes. Stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares back. And it's listening to you as well. And it was such a fitting title for the show. Ergo, the series has always been dedicated to exploring all the social and moral spiritual dangers inherent in the fast-growing technological landscape in which we live. Is that the USS Callista episode? I think it might be. Yes, it was quite good with that one. I quite enjoyed that one. So it was like Star Trek, obviously. What's this one? Woohoo! My video was recommended. Haha! The one you did yesterday about the one you did yesterday. Anyway, I forgot everybody about. I watched it as well, and I liked it, and I commented on it. What was it about? I can't remember what I did yesterday. Never mind what other people have done. It was a Star Trek one, wasn't it? I think. Oh, I'm a bad person. But well done. It was recommended. Me and recommended by YouTube. Is that what you're talking about? Anyway. Charlie Brooker also noted that to The Guardian that The Twilight Zone inspired him to create Black Mirror. His desire to create a series laden with surprises at every turn caused him to lean upon the anthology formula. Otakar says, Black Mirrors are an arcane tool for visions. Yes, scrying is a thing that they use in, the occult, in it. They use scrying mirrors. Soros in his mansion has actual black mirrors all over his mansion. Oh, right. Babylon 5, yes, of course. Star Trek, yes, Babylon 5, wasn't it, about the animated thing? It was recommended at the end of your watching the Star Wars video. Oh, right, yeah. Oh, it were on. Were it on? Oh, I didn't look. Oh, we're off it now, aren't we? Oh, but in the little bar that came up, I didn't notice. I wasn't paying any attention to it. Sorry. It's probably because I watched it, so it's recommending stuff that I've probably watched. But cool anyway. Cool. Right, back to Black Mirror. Charlie Brooker also noted to The Guardian that Twilight Zone inspired him to create Black Mirror. His desire to create a series laden with surprises at every turn caused him to lean upon the anthology formula. He pointed out that Rod Serling's series never pulls its punches when exploring its sometimes terrifying worlds. Its innocent heroes sometimes meet the terrible fates that are wholly unjust. Brooker also declared that Serling used his platform to spotlight real-life social issues such as racism, environmentalism, sexual harassment, and the horrors of corruption and greed. Black Mirror, in turn, has pointed out some modern issues which sadly don't run too far afield from Serling's milieu during the course of its 6 seasons, but the series' modernity takes it to places that the Twilight Zone could not during its own network run. Many characters dwelling in the wires and circuitry of Black Mirror yearn for real human connections but cannot achieve them, whether it's because technology cossets them into believing that science itself is enough, or because they cannot reach out and find another human due to the trickery of technology. They are hypnotized by their flat screens. Expect Brooker's chilling version of the world's near future to continue apace when all 5 episodes of the latest season of Black Mirror hit Netflix on June 15th. So there we go. There we go. I'm going to have to look back now at this. So we're getting out of that. So yes, Black Mirror is a cool series. So watch it. But I haven't seen the last one. As I said, it was a bit woke and got on my nerves, to be honest. You know, it was a bit in your face. And Black Mirror is not supposed to be in your face. It's supposed to be, you know, a bit subtle. I want to look back at this, see if it's there. There it is. Hang on, let's put it back up. There we go. There it is. Look. Also, that one from the Popcast guys. I don't know how these are on because I haven't seen these. Horizon Zero Dawn, number 4, and Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora by Ubisoft. Those two I've definitely watched. Those two I've never heard of them videos. But cool. Babylon 5 first images. That's especially that image there. By the way, go to Windgrace's channel and follow him and watch his video. It's a cool video. He's got great what's the word? Insight. That's the word. He's got great insights into all this stuff. Better than me, who stumbles over every word. Anyway, where were we? Right. Next up, I'm probably going to get angry at this one because it's about Leslye Headland and her stupid comments. But I think this article shows them in context, so it might not be as bad as it previously sounded. But before that, Auteur's saying things. Hang on, where were we? Windgrace said something first. Sorry, Auteur. Don't forget Outer Limits. What about it? Anyway. Yeah, I prefer Outer Limits to Twilight Zone myself. I did. Always loved Outer Limits. Anyway, so between Twilight Zone and Black Mirror, stuff got worse. Is anyone paying attention to lessons, even TV? Well, no, they're not either. You know, we're noting this stuff. We're saying, oh, yes, that's just like in real life, isn't it? You know, all these people are obsessed with the phones and social media and, you know, how many likes they're getting and all this stuff. And we're saying, oh, yeah, it's just like real life. And then carry on. Don't do anything about it. Anyway. Could I have a link for yeah, just a minute. I'll see if I can put it in the chat. I don't know if it'll let me put a link in the chat, but I will try. Just give me a moment. I will find it. Windgrace probably already there. Now I'm not on the main page. Windgrace probably already there. Of course, it's called bloody Windgrace. It's right down at the bottom of me. Come on, I've pressed it. There we go. Right. Where are we? There we go. YouTube Windgrace project. I bet he's there. I bet he's done it. No, he hasn't. Let's see if this works. It's done it. There we go. There we go. Hopefully that works. Has it popped up in there? I tried searching on YouTube, but it doesn't come up. You got to type like Windgrace Project, something like that. But anyway. But yeah, he's got a cool channel and he's gone over 500 subs, so he can monetize certain aspects of it. So cool. I hate him. Oh dear. I make no claims about my skills. Well, you don't have to, because you're humble. You're a humble man, but your videos are really good, and I wish my videos were as good as your videos. Anyway, Right, where were we? Acolyte, Star Wars. Right, here we go. Hang on, let's get rid of that. So I'll show that in case anybody else is watching. There you go. That's Windgrace's link. Write it down quick. I'll pause it and write it down. I'll leave it there for a minute or two. Right. The Acolyte showrunner Leslye Headland points to Star Wars creator George Lucas as an example of the misogyny of the Auteur myth. The Acolyte showrunner Leslye Headland used Star Wars. Yes, I know I'm deliberately mispronouncing the first name. Star Wars creator George Lucas as an example. I've just said that. The Acolyte showrunner. That's 3 times. The same sentence repeated 3 bloody times. 4 times, just about. Right. She was asked this concept less of a voice or author of more than they do it by themselves. Am I wrong about that? Is that in that sense of it's one thing to have vision, it's one thing to have an author, but there's an element of how that comes to life? She was asked. And Ada said, eh? That's what Ada said. What are you talking about? I don't understand the question. Anyway, Headland responded, I think it's also just my experience in the hiring world of being a female writer-director. The number of jobs that I have not gotten infinite, and the amount of work that I have done to get them is enormous. And listen, no one said to my face, we don't think you can do this because you are a girl. What? But I do think there's an idea of what a director looks like. And she's a writer, and she can't even speak. I can't do either, but, I'm not getting the big books. She continued, and a lot of people will say, no, it's what you do, and the cream rises to the top, and just the best person for the job. She's trying to make out that that's some sort of excuse, but it's not. It should be true life, that, shouldn't it? We should be, in a merit-based society, but we're not for some reason. We're in a everybody gets a trophy. Anyway. This little air conditioning unit here, it's not, it's only going quietly on low power, but it's really making a difference. Anyway, if that there had been like sweat had been rolling down me. Where were we? And the only reason I disagree with that is partially because the Auteur myth is so strong that it is really what they want to see is a guy come in there who will do everything himself, who basically can say, I will do all of this by myself, and it'll be perfect, and you don't need to worry about everything. Well, no, that's not it, is it? Sometimes you get auteurs like James Cameron, George Lucas, what's his face? Pulp Fiction fella. Me and names. Him. And, where they have a vision. Yes, we're in an idiocracy, aren't we? Yes, we are. Auteur, that's what we're in. Which is a film I've seen once. I didn't actually like it that much, but I saw the point of it. Quentin Tarantino, that's the fella. It's like examples of auteurs where the vision, yes, Tarantino, thank you, Auteur. But they have their vision, and because they're good filmmakers as well, of varying degrees, but the good filmmakers, they basically know what they want to see on screen, so they have their, yes, thank you, Wing. Everybody's telling me now, yes, I know, I've just said Tarantino. They know what they want to put on screen, so it's their vision, their creation, and who's to say that it shouldn't be like that? What is wrong with being an auteur? I mean, the same could be said, also for back in the day, like people like Ray Harryhausen. I know he often didn't write his films, but he was the driving force behind them, wasn't he? Yeah, he had his producer, Charles H. Schneer, but it was really a Ray Harryhausen film, wasn't it? And they had different directors and stuff, but they were his visions, weren't they, on screen? Essentially. Right. Headland went on, and it justifies some crazy behaviour. It justifies, like, I remember somebody telling me something about a male showrunner / creator type person and their behaviour. And listen, I'm not perfect by any means, but I think if you set yourself up that way, male or female, you are setting yourself up for failure. You are setting yourself up to fail because there's no way to do something like Russian Doll by yourself. But I bet you did throw yourself about the set. I bet you did. Because that's what creatives do, especially ones that pick up the big contracts and whatever, get pushed by the studio and get things done. You've got an ego, and you can't let the little people drag you down. There's no way to do something like any of the films that I mentioned in that The Hollywood Reporter article. And there she is, probably throwing her weight around on the set of The Acolyte. Which I still don't believe is going to get a full series, even though they say it's done. Anyway, she then shifted the conversation to Star Wars. One of the things that I just did recently is I bought all of the concept art for Star Wars, for the original Star Wars by that great guy. I've forgotten his name. Well, I can't say out about that, can I? But she means Ralph McQuarrie. I just bought that 2-volume book about him, and Ralph McQuarrie, that's his name, Jesus. That's me, innit? I am Leslye Headland. I can never remember names. When I'm not doing this, I can remember names amazingly. The politicians will appear on telly that I've never even seen before, and I'll say, "Oh, that's such and such fella." But turn the camera on, and then my brain goes to mush. Right, so I've just recently got his 2-volume set of Star Wars concept art from Ralph McQuarrie, and I'm like, this is insane, she remarked. This guy created Star Wars. No, he kind of created the visual look. He interpreted what George Lucas described to him. Like you see the evolution of the idea from what George is trying to express to him to what he puts down on the piece of paper to what it eventually becomes, to why he makes particular decisions, like why he decides to take things in one direction and not the other. That's nothing to do with Ralph McQuarrie's conceptual designs, is it? Why he decides to take things in one direction and not the other. It's his script, isn't it? The scripts he writes, he decides to go one direction and not the other. He's not looking at Ralph McQuarrie's art and saying, because that's a TIE fighter and that's an X-Wing, it's got to be doing this, that, and the other, so I'll have to write this. No, don't work like that. Headland, I don't know what I'm talking about. Headland then asserted, this is like what we understand to be Star Wars, the idea that only came from George Lucas. That only George Lucas holds the key for what we understand to be Star Wars is just untrue. And I think the prequels are an excellent example of that. I don't know what she's talking about. I think what she's talking about is, all creative endeavors, especially in Hollywood, apart from painting and, writing a novel or whatever, but like movies and TV, the team efforts are there. Yes, you can have an auteur who's the driving force and who's essentially God. They have the last word on everything. But you've still got a team of creative people, helping, haven't you? That's what she's trying to say. But she's saying it in a nasty way and putting down George Lucas for some reason, because she probably hates men. But you look at McQuarrie's work, and you realise what an incredible mark this man has. She doesn't hate Ralph McQuarrie. What an indelible mark this man has made on culture via this one role he played on this film. Not really. I mean, he did Battlestar Galactica as well, the concept art for that. And probably dozens of other films that we just don't know about. And Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, I think he did that as well. I'm trying to think of any others. I can't off the top of my head. I was going to say The Black Hole, but that was Peter Ellenshaw. I want it. Or the other one, Harrison Ellenshaw. There's both of them. One's the father and one's the son, and I can't remember which way around it is. Anyway, and the idea that, like, when you are hiring a director, that everyone is sitting in there waiting for George Lucas and not for the person who is going to know to hire Ralph McQuarrie, that's the problem. That's the misogyny and the problem with the auteur myth as it stands today. No, you're waiting for George Lucas because he is the creator of the IP, and he's also, the main producer. He's the boss. He's the one in charge, essentially, in the day-to-day running of the movie. But he brought Ralph McQuarrie along. He hired Ralph McQuarrie because he wanted a visual representation. When they were hawking the Star Wars to all the studios, they had Ralph McQuarrie do these concept arts so he could take them round to the studios and show them instead of just handing them a treatment or a script, which which they didn't like, did they? Because he's not the best writer in the world, to be honest. Is George Lucas? He'd probably admit that himself, but the artwork that really did it, the Ralph McQuarrie artwork. Anyway, and that's what got him his gig for Star Wars from Fox, thankfully. I think he'd been to Fox before, hadn't he? And they'd rejected him, but then Alan Ladd took over and gave him another chance and stuck his neck out for George, did Alan Ladd Jr. Anyway, because they are not thinking, this is the quote again, because they are not thinking this is the person that will hire the right people and this is the person that will be able to create the look books. I don't know what that means. Does that mean, the Bibles or whatever they have, the designs in? Is that what they're talking about? I don't know. And direct people to get them to that place. They're just thinking, the costume design and stuff like that. They're just thinking, do you have all the answers? And the truth is that nobody does. And anybody says they do is lying. I wouldn't say that. I think George Lucas probably does have all the answers when it refers to Star Wars. Sometimes they're probably not the right answers or the answers people want to hear, but it's his story. So what he says goes, or it used to. Headland would later state whether it's an editor like Thelma or Marsha Lucas. Who the hell's Thelma? Or Marsha Lucas, whether it's an editor or production designer. Maybe she's the editor on Acolyte. I don't know. Whether it's an editor or production designer like Polly Platt, or if it's an actor, it's a Gwen Verdon or Mia Farrow. The idea that that person is replaceable and the writer-director is not is something I would challenge. And I would challenge that to myself as well. Why do you fire yourself then? I would take that myself to that task. I am not anymore indispensable. That should be separate words. I'm not any more indispensable than my crew is. Yeah, of course you think that. Ironically, Headland's example makes absolutely no sense. There we go. Given Lucas hired McQuarrie to help pitch Star Wars to Fox. See, Windgrace, this is what's happened when I don't exist outside of linear time and I can't read ahead of an article. In an interview from the Lucasfilm vault, McQuarrie detailed George Lucas talked about Star Wars and he didn't have a title yet, but the concept for a film that was going to be a big galactic war. And then when he started to talk to Fox, it seemed to him a good idea to have some illustrations to show the scope of the visuals that he planned, which I think in George's mind was a big part of the movie. And I told him that I'd love to do it. And he did amazing work, as we all know. McQuarrie continued. He and Gary Kurtz, who was indispensable on Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, and then he left. Some people say he got fired, but he actually left because he had a falling out with George Lucas on Return of the Jedi, which is why a lot of people think Return of the Jedi is the lesser film of the original trilogy. Still got the best space battle, though. He and Gary Kurtz came over one day with the script. I started on it the same day. I think I really got into it right away, working on those original paintings that were really done to sell the film. George and Gary went off, let me do more paintings. Fox wanted me to do more paintings. Gary and George went to England and started scouting this whole thing from a budget point of view. Came back 3 or 4 weeks later saying, looks like we're going to do this film. McQuarrie then shared, I never really thought it would be a film while I was working on those original paintings. It seemed so vast a project to me. There was quite a few things set up by George, and I felt I was drawing what he wanted things to look like. I don't think that either of us thought that the way the movie was going to look necessarily. These were just sketches. That were the best we could do in terms of how we felt it should look, but not necessarily the end product in the sense that this was really going to be it. But it sort of turned out to be it in the end, for the most part. Some of those paintings were virtually rendered intact onto the screen in Star Wars for certain scenes, he concluded. Yeah, pretty much. As for Headland's claim that anyone is replaceable, Marsha Lucas will probably agree with her, as she made it clear she did not like what Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, and Lucasfilm did to the property. Yeah, true. In Howard Kazanjian, A Producer's Life by author J.W. Rinsler, she told him, now that Kathleen Kennedy's running Lucasfilm and making movies, it to me that Kathy Kennedy and J.J. Abrams don't have a clue about Star Wars. They don't get it. And J.J. Abrams is writing these stories. When I saw that movie where they kill Han Solo, I was furious. I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. Probably in Harrison Ford's contract because he hated playing Han Solo. But anyway, he wanted to be killed in Return of the Jedi. They were even written into the script. Well, it was written into the script that the Millennium Falcon were destroyed, but I don't think Han Solo would have bought it at the time because it was Calrissian Lando, wasn't it? But he did want to die in. Well, he wanted to die in Empire, didn't he? I don't think he really wanted to come back for Return of the Jedi, but he did. They waved loads of money at him, I suppose. She added, I thought you don't get the Jedi story. You don't get the magic of Star Wars. You're getting rid of Han Solo. And then at the end of this last one, The Last Jedi, they have Luke disintegrate. They killed Han Solo. They killed Luke Skywalker. They don't have Princess Leia anymore. And they're spitting out movies every year. And they think it's important to appeal to a woman's audience. So now their main character is this female who's supposed to have Jedi powers, but we don't know how she got Jedi powers or who she is. It sucks. The storylines are terrible, just terrible, awful, Marsha Lucas concluded. And some argue that Marsha Lucas, saved the original Star Wars. Apparently the original George's original cut of the film was, almost unwatchable, unless you're Steven Spielberg. Or that other producer, I forgot his name, Guy, somebody or other. He was an English fella. He was a Fox executive. He loved it. He went home and cried and told his family, I've seen the best film ever made. Apparently that was George Lucas's original rubbish cut. But Marsha Lucas and the other two, whose names I can't remember, won an Academy Award for their editing. They saved it. Star Wars was saved in the edit. Because George Lucas, yes, it's his baby, it's his story. And, if he didn't like the cut that they did, he could have said no, and we're going with my cut. But, he obviously recognised that they'd made a better film. So there you go. Lucas also noted, Marsha Lucas, she was not the heart of Star Wars. I wouldn't think so. I definitely made scenes work. I made the end battle work. I definitely had a lot to do with making it work, but I wasn't the writer, and I wasn't the director, and I didn't come up with the creative names Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. All those names are classics. George came up with all of it using his amazing imagination, she said. What do you make of Headland's claims? Is this a Bounding into Comics article that's been... Oh, it is. It's there, yeah. I thought it was just on another... I thought, this is getting a bit spicy. But, oh, yes, it is a Bounding into Comics article by John F. Trent. But I just saw wherever it is. But, yes, like I said, she's an idiot. I'm sorry. She don't know what she's talking about. She thinks she's being, edgy and, girl power and all that. But she's just talking out of her ass. So, sorry, Leslye. And I don't think the Acolyte will be any good, to be honest. And I don't think it's going to get a full series. So, yeah. Despite them telling us that the other, to the other wise, whatever. Anyway, off we go. We're nearly done. Right, go away. Right, we're on Gateworld. Another Stargate story. Right, it seems to be... Stargate stories seem to be, accelerating the last few days for some reasons. This means we're going to get an announcement from Amazon. Anyway, Robert Carlyle and Brian J. Smith on reviving Stargate Universe. That was the last Stargate series. It only ran for 2 seasons. It was just getting good, and then it got cancelled. Anyway, 2 of the show's cast members say they would be up for a return should MGM find a way to continue the story of Destiny and her crew. I think it's been a little bit too long now, though. I mean, in 2011, I think the series ended. So that's 12 years, isn't it? Yeah. 12 years. And they're all getting older. And Eli, I forgot the actor's name. David Blue looks completely different now. Used to be, a big lad, and now he's, he's trimmed down and he's, quite a bit of a hunk, I suppose you could say. Anyway, for fans of Stargate Universe, the show's abrupt cancellation after 2 seasons, I don't know if it were abrupt, I think they knew it were coming, is still a tender wound. This year marks 12 years since the show went off the air, with the crew of Destiny frozen in stasis to cross the long void between galaxies. There were a comic, Stargate Destiny or something, the course, SGU Destiny, where we saw alleged, it was supposed to be canon, apparently, but I don't know if it will be. I doubt it. But where it showed what happened, Eli were on the Destiny, traveling between galaxies, and he actually found it. He got access to another part of the ship and found all these ancients in stasis, in cryo chambers, and so he woke other people up, some of his friends and that, and they got these ancients awake, and I can't actually remember what happened in it. I bought them all and read them, and I forgot how it ended. I think the ancients tried to take over the Destiny again, and I think they got ill and died. I think they had a plague or something, and maybe the Ori plague, so I can't remember. Win Grace will know if he's listening. Anyway. Right, while fans wait for MGM and its new owner Amazon to decide what they will do with the Stargate franchise next, many are holding out hope for some form of continuation of the existing TV franchise. If it's not a 3rd season of SGU, maybe at least a one-off movie or miniseries to wrap up the story originally conceived by creators Brad Wright and Robert C. Cooper. I always ask, is it related to Marion C. Cooper, one of the King Kong creators from way back? I don't know. Probably not. By the way, just check, see if any messages on it. There we go, another one. I don't know, people keep saying this. On Rumble, for some reason, people keep saying legendary Lee Kennedy. Who's that? I don't know. I don't get it. It's over my head. Anyway. And no, nobody on Twitch either. Right. Any messages on Facebook for me? No. What about Instagram? Not that I can see. Let me refresh. Nope. And what else we got? Twitter. What's happening on Twitter? Sod all. Well, not for me anyway. Right. Back to the story. In a new pair of interviews with Sidewalks Entertainment, former SGU cast members Brian J. Smith and Robert Carlyle speak to the possibility of a revival and whether they would play their characters again. Oh, when Grace is educating us. They could just claim Eli got buff working on the ship for 12 years. Well, this is it. He just, he had time to do plenty of sit-ups, didn't he? And he had to steal power to keep people alive, but it was not enough. So they still aged, or certain people died if they won't return. Yeah. And where there's a will, there's a way. Yes. They can always, a good writer can always, work something out that makes sense and pleases the fans. But yeah, hopefully they'll figure it out. I want to know what happened to the Destiny crew, and I hope they just don't gloss over it. If they do a new Stargate series that's all new, but still connected to the what's gone before, I hope they just don't gloss over it and say, "Oh yeah, we got them back," so many years ago, because we managed to open the wormhole to the Destiny, and we got all the crew to come back and all that. Anyway, where were we? It was huge for me, Smith said. He played young Lieutenant Matthew Scott on the show. Stargate was the first time I really had some solidity in my life. I was able to pay off my student loans. It kind of made me feel like an adult for the first time in my life. We're still cryogenically frozen on the Destiny, on that spaceship somewhere out there in the cosmos. He said it's kind of teed up for someone to do a movie or something where we can finish off that story. It'd be really fascinating to revisit it after all these years. I said my headcanon about what's happening on Stargate Universe, what's happened, the ancients, if you don't know, the ancients had found a signal in the fabric of space itself, in the cosmic microwave background radiation, whatever it's called. That found like not a message, a signal, of something obviously artificial in the fabric of the universe, basically. And the Destiny was designed to go and search for those answers to that mysterious question. And my own personal headcanon thing, what happened is that it was actually the ancients themselves that put that message in there. As like a self-fulfilling prophecy. When they ascended, they became one with the universe, like the prophets in Deep Space Nine. They were non-linear and, they could do anything, basically. And it was them that put the message in at the dawn of creation. And it would, and to do a self-fulfilling prophecy, they had to go and find the message. And it was that allowed them to ascend or whatever. But anyway, whatever. Right, where were we? Smith said that he had a great time working with the SGU cast and being a part of the Stargate universe. Please, yes, if that happens, sign me up, he said, of a potential return. There's so many worlds in that franchise. It can go so many different ways. I'm curious to see what they do. Smith is currently promoting his new limited series, Class of 09, which is now streaming on Hulu. By the way, going back to universe, but I'm saying the ancients created the signal, and what happened? The crew on the Destiny, ascended. Probably when they got to the planets where they had the obelisks. I think that was probably something to do with it, with this ancient signal. And when the ancients figured it out, and then it's probably immediately ascended before they had time to put it into the Destiny's computers. The answer. We found the answer till it have ascended. Oh God! And the ship just carried on without them. So that's my theory. Ancients went a bit senile. I forgot to turn the cooker off at the beginning. Yes, it's very, very, very possible. I forgot where I was now. I read that bit, didn't I? Anyway, Smith is currently promoting his new limited series, Class of 09, which is now streaming on Hulu. It's described as a suspense thriller that tells the story of a class of FBI agents across 3 different time periods as they grapple with the future impact of artificial intelligence on the criminal justice system. It's gonna kill us all, artificial intelligence. Taking over bloody, isn't it, Winger? It's taking over bloody Popcast Discord server. Asking it questions all the bleeding time. Anyway. Smith is currently... I've just read that. Carlyle, meanwhile, intimated that he would also be willing to portray Dr. Nicholas Rush again, though he's sceptical on whether MGM will one day revive the show. You never say never, he said. I've learned that. I would think it would be unlikely for it to come back. I think Rush probably will have died in his stasis chamber. You never know. It was unfortunate what happened to it at the time when the show was cancelled by the network. Right at the time that MGM was declaring bankruptcy in 2010. Yeah, it's also why we didn't get the. There's supposed to be more SG1 movies, one that, and then Stargate Atlantis movie, but that's MGM going bankrupt. Kai boss that. Right, Win Grace. The message is just, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Yes. Oh, they want a new drive. Hi. It's a phone call I got this morning. Got me out of bed, it did. Hi, I'm so-and-so from the driveways. We understand your property has a drive. Would you like us to come out and give you a quote to have it resurfaced? No, thanks. Not interested. FBI is a criminal. Is it? Okay, all right. Oh, you're talking about the that Class of 09 FBI. Is it a criminal organization? There's good people in it. Anyway, but he noted that the series did leave the characters in a perfect position for a revival, even many years later. They're still up there in the sky, floating around on that ship, Carlyle said. Whether someone takes it to bring them down to Earth again, who knows? Carlyle also has a new show, a TV adaptation of his classic film, The Full Monty, which premieres on June 14th. Stargate Universe ran for 2 seasons, which are now streaming on Amazon Prime Video in the United States. There we go. They could have them wake them up, bring them out of stasis, and you see, buff Eli waking them up, and it could do a Jack O'Neill and go, Eli, what's with the muscles? If you don't watch Stargate, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So there we go. So they're willing to come back. I think, speaking of David Blue, I think he is also willing to come back. He were on the Shuttlepod show, and I started watching it, but his microphone kept dropping out, so I got fed up of watching that, so I didn't watch it all the way through. But I think he said during that, I think I've seen it reported elsewhere, that he'd be willing to come back for Stargate Universe. So there we go. There we go. Right, I think we've one story, and then we can go and sunbathe. Right, it's a bit of a list. I hope it's not a long one. I just thought we'll share this. Actors who turned down iconic roles. Some major stars turned down a chance to lead The Matrix, Avatar, and more. Matt Damon. Oh, pardon me. If you're a working actor, fear of missing out is just part of the job description. Even Hollywood's. By the way, when I was at school, the teacher she'd got a ruler and just across me things. If you saw me writing that in a composition, don't use abbreviations in compositions. I'm always told, and always don't use numbers either. Always write out the number. Like don't write 21st. Write 20. Write it out as a. Ooh. If you were a stickler for that, well, my English teacher, Mrs. Dyson. Yeah. Anyway. Even Hollywood's biggest stars have been rejected time and time again, but seemingly every actor also has a story or two about turning down a part, not realizing the massive hit they let slip through their fingers. From The Matrix and Titanic to Pulp Fiction and Game of Thrones, here's how some of your film and TV favourites could have looked much different had an actor not passed on one of the leads. There we go. Will Smith turned down Neo in The Matrix. Whoa! Will Smith could have played Keanu Reeves' role of Neo in The Matrix. All right. I actually thought they were going to say to the fella, Morpheus. I thought they were going to say Morpheus. Anyway. Hang on. Auteur looks forward to binge watching all Stargate. Yeah. Actually, I binged all of SG1 on Amazon, and I think about halfway through. I think we're about halfway through season 2 when they unsubscribed of Atlantis, when they unsubscribed from MGM on the thingy. Anyway, I like how even Connor Trinier makes fun of Stargate Origins. I didn't mind Stargate Origins, to be honest, because I cut it a lot of slack because it had no budget at all, did it? So it's a bit cheap looking, but I thought it was fine for what it did. Is Sean Connery on this list? I don't know. We will see. You would know, living outside of linear time. Anyway, Will Smith could have played the Keanu Reeves role of Neo in The Matrix, but he turned it down. The actor explained he was baffled by director Lana and Lily Wachowski's pitch. There weren't Lana and Lily then, though, were there? Don't ask me what the names were, but they were the Wachowski brothers back then. Now they're not. Anyway, which failed to convey how groundbreaking the movie would be. Smith instead starred in the infamous bomb Wild Wild West, which I've never seen. Never seen it. Still, he feels this was for the best. If I had done it because I'm black, then Morpheus wouldn't have been black, he said, noting Val Kilmer was considered for that part instead of Lawrence Fishburne. So I did y'all a favour, he added. Yeah, probably. Right. Matt Damon turned down Jake Sully in Avatar. Before Sam Worthington was cast as Jake Sully in Avatar, Matt Damon passed on the role to focus on the Jason Bourne franchise. I was going to say. Avatar went on to become the highest grossing film of all time. And to make matters worse, James Cameron had offered Damon 10% of the profits, meaning he would have made over $250 million. Excuse me. I will go down in history. You will never meet an actor who turned down more money, Damon said, per Deadline. Windgrace liked Wild Wild West. It's just dumb fun. Because I had a big, saw the trailers and stuff, and they had the big mechanical spidery type thing and all that, didn't it? Geez, what a stupid comment. You mean about the Morpheus thing? And yeah. Yeah, by Will Smith. Yes, sorry. The bad guy was good. What's his name? Was it Kevin Kline as the bad guy in Wild Wild West? Am I thinking of something else? Can't remember. I've not seen it, so I can't remember. Anyway, where were we? Claire Danes turned down Rose in Titanic. Spooky. We just did Claire Danes, not literally, but we just had her in. Claire Danes appeared in Stardust, which we did on Monday, my Monday Moan. Episode 5 of the Monday Moan was Stardust, and it broke the format because I kind of liked it by the end. I'm supposed to hate it. Anyway, Damon isn't the only one who turned down a James Cameron monster hit. On the Armchair Expert podcast, Claire Danes recalled passing on the role of Rose in Titanic, which went to Kate Winslet. Thank God. Oh, I like Kate Winslet. Danes said I even didn't mind that song she brought out. She can't sing but it's Kate Winslet. What the heck? What's up, Princess? You wanted to come in? Just a minute then. Cat's meowing at the window. A good deal with the cat, so just bear with me. I'll be back shortly. Where's my test card? There it is. Right, I'm back. My cat, Princess, she wanted to come in. I hardly see her. We have this nice weather. She's out all the time, but she's coming. She wants something to eat. Anyway, Kenneth Branagh was the bad guy. Clown was the hero alongside Will. Oh, I knew we were in it. Right. I'll have to have a watch. I'll have to dig it out and have a watch. Anyway, Kate Winslet. There we go. So our boobs, didn't we? Anyway, Dane said she just didn't have it in her to take the part and deal with the level of fame it would bring. And she also wanted to have different creative experiences, as she had just starred opposite Leonardo DiCaprio in another romantic drama, Romeo plus Juliet. That's by him that did Moulin Rouge. I think I forgot his name now. Australian fella. Gwyneth Paltrow also passed on the role. Gwyneth Paltrow, who just happens to look identical to Claire Danes, in my opinion. Well, nearly. As we talked about on Stardust, on the Monday Moan on Monday. Go and watch it. Anyway, there you go. So it could have been Claire Danes or Gwyneth Paltrow instead of Kate Winslet. There we go. Lawrence Fishburne turned down Jules in Pulp Fiction. Lawrence Fishburne passed up on the chance to play Jules in Pulp Fiction instead of Samuel L. Jackson. On the Rewatchables podcast, Quentin Tarantino explained he wrote Jules for Fishburne, but the actor's team suggested he turn it down instead. Turn it down. Oh, for God's sake. Because it was a supporting role and they were trying to establish him as a leading man. Instead, Fishburne starred in Bad Company opposite Ellen Barkin. Their strategy was right on, but they took me lightly, Tarantino said, adding that what he passed up with Pulp Fiction, he eventually gets with The Matrix. It could be argued, though, that Samuel L. Jackson is the most... there's no lead no lead actors, is there, in Pulp Fiction? They're all kind of supporting cast. They're all supporting each other, aren't they? And one of the most memorable ones is Samuel L. Jackson. But they're kind of all memorable in Pulp Fiction because they all get their own little story, don't they? Their own time to shine on film. John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis and Ving Rhames. She's up to stuff. Right, Liam Neeson turned down James Bond in GoldenEye. It could have been Neeson. I can't imagine Liam Neeson as James Bond, to be honest. It could have been Liam Neeson making his debut as James Bond in GoldenEye instead of Pierce Brosnan. So they wanted an Irish actor, basically, didn't they? Because Pierce Brosnan's Irish. But the actor told Rolling Stone he passed on 007 because his wife told him, if you play James Bond, we're not getting married. The Taken star added that she gave me a James Bond ultimatum. Joking. Come on, there's all those gorgeous girls in various countries getting into bed and getting out of bed. I'm sure a lot of the decision-making was based on that. Neeson clarified he didn't have an offer, though, and was one of a bunch of actors who were considered. All right. So he didn't really turn it down. He never even got offered it. And his missus says, if you do get offered, you're out on your ear. Sean Connery turned down Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. So yes, you're right. Connery's mentioned. Win grace. You are omnipotent. You are omnipresent. You are everywhere. You are a god. You want to go back out now, aren't you? Cheeky monkey. Yes? If you start meowing, I'll let you out. Speaking of Bonds, Sean Connery was offered the role of Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. Fly your forge. Trilogy before Ian McKellen was cast. Producer Mark Ordesky told The Independent, we did make an offer to Connery, but he said no. We never got an answer until years later, but apparently he read the material and just didn't get it. Bilbo Baggins. If you want to go out, just bear with me again for a minute. I won't put the thing up. Let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, just topping up my pop while I'm at it. Right. Yeah, so Sean Connery could have been Gandalf. Thank God he wasn't. Oh dear. You shall not pass. Drew Barrymore turned down Sidney Prescott in Scream. In one of the most iconic opening sequences in movie history, Drew Barrymore was killed at the start of Scream, shocking audiences who expected her to be in the entire film. Yeah, it's kind of expected her to be the final girl, and she wasn't. She was the first. Well, she was originally meant to be, as Barrymore was first attached to play the lead, Sidney Prescott. But she then decided she instead wanted to play the opening victim, knowing moviegoers would be stunned to see her die so early. We were really bummed when she changed her mind, producer Marianne Maddalena recalled in the book. It all began with the Scream, but later we realised it was brilliant, with Barrymore no longer playing Sidney. Is it Neve or Nev? I always say Neve. Anyway, whatever. Campbell was cast. Halle Berry turned down Annie Porter in Speed. Halle Berry was offered the Sandra Bullock role in Speed, which would have paired her with Keanu Reeves. Though the movie looked pretty different at that point, I stupidly said no, Berry told Entertainment Tonight. But in my defence, when I read the script, the bus didn't leave the parking lot. Why do they call it Speed? I was like, no. Then I see the movie and I'm like, ag! The bus didn't leave the parking lot. What were it about? Well, it just called parked then instead. Anyway, Brian Cox. Presume this is the actor Brian Cox, not the astronomer. Musician turned astronomer. Brian Cox turned down Robert Baratheon in Game of Thrones. Succession star Brian Cox could have starred on another HBO hit, as he turned down the role of King Robert Baratheon on Game of Thrones. Why have I got it to me that Succession were on Apple? I thought it was. Anyway, never mind. He later explained in his memoir this was largely because of his salary offer. When it was originally offered, the money was not all that great, shall we say, Cox wrote. They were kind of a bit of a star, wasn't it, by this time with Brian Cox? He'd been in X-Men 2 and all that. And I say, well, it was the original Hannibal Lecter, wasn't he? Oh, Papa, for me, Pop. Anyway, plus I was going to be killed off fairly early on. So I wouldn't have had any of the benefits of the long-term effects of a successful series where your wages go up with each passing season. So it was just all about the money for Brian. A canny Scott. Emma Watson turned down Mia in La La Land, which I kind of liked, to be honest, La La Land. Thought it was pretty good. I'm not a Ryan Gosling fan. I find him a bit bland and, beige, but it was fine in La La Land. Anyway, Emma Watson and Miles Teller were in talks to lead La La Land before the parts went to Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. Watson explained she had to drop out because of commitments to Disney's Beauty and the Beast remake, which, I didn't really like it, to be honest. Anyway, scheduling conflict wise, it didn't work out, she said. Stone went on to win the Best Actress Oscar for the role. Yeah, I didn't really like her in Beauty and the Beast, to be honest. Emma Watson, she's got lovely eyes, but the rest of her I'm not that enamoured with. But says me, the oil painting. Right. Anyway, how long does it go on for? Oh, we're nearly there. Jack Nicholson turned down Michael Corleone in The Godfather. Jack Nicholson passed on Michael Corleone, Al Pacino's character in The Godfather. In a 1982 interview, he felt that an Italian actor should play the character. On top of that, Nicholson wanted to work with Marlon Brando, but he didn't have any scenes with Marlon in the script I read. So Nicholson decided to hold out for a chance to work with Brando more directly, which he got with 1976's The Missouri Breaks. Very good. I'm sure it'd have been fine if they'd have cast him. Of course, it's Jack Nicholson, for God's sake. Anyway, Emily Blunt was forced to turn down Black Widow in Iron Man 2. Thank God. I like Emily Blunt, but she's no Scarlett Johansson, is she? Scarlett Johansson made her Marvel Cinematic Universe debut as Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, in Iron Man 2, setting her up for an 11-year run in the role. But Emily Blunt was in talks before turning the part down, although not by choice. On the Howard Stern show, Blunt explained she was forced to pass because she was contracted to star in Gulliver's Travels, which was later panned by critics. I didn't even know they'd done another one. It was a bit of a heartbreaker for me because I take such pride in the decisions that I make, she told Stern. Yeah, you went in that bloody awful A Quiet Place, didn't you? Oh, that's going to be one that's on Monday morning. A Quiet Place. God, I hate that film. Gets me so angry. And I think finally, Amanda Seyfried, was it Seyfried, whatever, turned down Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy. Wingrace says, that Gulliver movie was rough with Jack Black. Is that? Never heard of it. I didn't even know they'd made one. Can't be that bad if it's got Jack Black in it. Anyway, Amanda Seyfried told the Hollywood Reporter's Awards Chatter podcast she turned down the role of Gamora in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which went to Zoe Saldana. This was partially because she didn't want to spend hours getting into and out of green makeup every day. Say, Brian would have been happy, wouldn't he? But Seyfried also recalled not wanting to be part of the first Marvel movie that bombed, admitting she asked, "Who wants to see a movie about a talking tree and a raccoon?" She added, "I was very wrong." Yeah, it's cool as Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of the best ones. And I'm sure she'd have been fine, to be honest, as Gamora, because, but apart from, I like Amanda Seyfried. She's gorgeous and stuff, but she has kind of got googly eyes. They protrude a little bit. But, I wouldn't say no. Not that I'd ever have the opportunity. But I like Karen Gillan. Although she needs to eat a few pies. Get some meat on your bones, Karen. I know she played Nebula, remember. Gamora, sister. Right, that's it. We're done. I think. Hang on. Let me just double check. Make sure I haven't missed anything. No big cat stories this week. You know why? Because I forgot to look. Never mind. Right. I'm sure there was a big cat story as well. Or maybe I covered it. Anyway, it don't matter. Right. So we're done. We are done for another few days. So thanks for watching. Thanks, Wingrace and Ottercar, for joining in. Yes, Ottercar says, thanks for the updates. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I'm going to go and sit now. I'm not going to go sit in the garden. I'm going to go sit there under the ceiling fan. That's what I'm going to do, and watch telly. That's why I'm a big fat blob that's going to be dead by the time I'm 60, probably. Right, what's coming up next? Next is my Friday night appointment with Thea on Friday night at 9 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what it is in Australia. I don't know if anybody watches me in Australia. But this week, as I said earlier, we're doing The Cottage, starring Andy Serkis and Reece Shearsmith and Jennifer Ellison, who's got a foul mouth on it, and it's very funny, and it's a good film. I enjoy it. And next Monday, on the Monday Moan, we're doing Buckaroo Banzai, as I said. Oh, maybe I've got that one as well. We're doing Buckaroo Banzai, and what is it? The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Hate this film. I do. I've watched it twice. Hated it both times. I bought the DVD years and years ago, thinking I'm going to force myself to like this, and I can't. And I'm going to have to watch it again, aren't I? God, I'll probably end up liking it like I did with Stardust, tell you. Maybe I'm mellowing in my old age. Anyway, we will leave it there. So, oh, crikey. So, thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see you there.